You found yourself on another episode of Locked On Bulls. On today's episode, me and Pat are going to break down Rich Paul's comments about MJ and LeBron being GOATs. We're also going to talk about the Bulls' 2025 free agency plans, and Christain Wood signs with the Los Angeles Lakers. Did the Bulls miss out? We'll talk about all that and more right after this.
You are Locked On Bulls, your daily podcast on the Chicago Bulls, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thank you for tuning in to Locked On Bulls, member of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every day. That's Pat the Designer, host and creator of the Windy City Breeze and host of the Chicago Bears podcast over at ESPN 1000. I'm Haize, host and creator of Chicago Bulls and Chicago Bears Central. And a topic that will literally never die. It will never stop. This debate will be going on from now until the end of time, and that is the GOAT debate. Rich Paul recently put in his thought. He had a really weird analogy. Like, what was it? Horns dipped in platinum and gold. And like throughout this, he did say that he feels that LeBron went through things that MJ just did not have to deal with. Overall, Pat, how do you feel about Rich Paul's comments on the GOAT debate?
Here's my issue with all of this. First off, the GOAT debate is stupid at this point at best, because you're never going to see who's the better player. You literally can't tell me, right, that you've watched every play of Michael Jordan, watched every play of LeBron James. Now, Rich Paul and them they're a little bit different, but without a skewed view, right? Because, listen, Rich is where he is because of LeBron. The view is going to be skewed. LeBron is his GOAT for very different reasons than just basketball at the end of the day to me. And so when I look at the whole GOAT debate situation, I've been big on you need to do a greatest of the era, because I think they both got horns, but one's dipped in platinum and one's dipped in gold. GOAT is not, first off, it's not an animal when we're talking about GOATs. We all know this, right? Like, we're not sitting, like, I get the whole following around Bron and Mike.
That
was
funny.
But it's like, bro, like, it's not like it's an acronym. It's greatest of all time. You can't have multiple greatest of all time. So having this debate is dumb in itself. Also, the point of, Michael Jordan didn't have to deal with the social media aspect of it. He didn't have to deal with everyday scrutiny being on him. And I think what we realize with that is, right, like, that media is just different. It still was media. Yeah. Every time the news was turned on, Michael Jordan, or on sporting news or whatever it is, Michael Jordan is the topic of conversation. Michael Jordan was hated by most people around the world or around the country that had basketball teams in their city, because Mike kept beating them, right? New York don't like Mike.
Yeah.
LA didn't like Mike. Like we act like Mike was universally loved. Mike was universally feared and universally respected. I think that LeBron James is not universally feared or respected. And that is the biggest difference in the debate. Now, there's a lot of things that, and I think here's the thing, right? Jordan fans are giving LeBron fans what Kareem fans gave Jordan fans. Whenever the new guy comes up, the new guy on the block, there's always a debate. Oh, it's this guy. He did this. How can you do this if you haven't done? Like, that's all Jordan fans are doing. But the issue that I have is we spend too much time sitting here worried about who's the greatest of all time, when realistically it's a freaking opinion question at this point, because they're two of the greatest players to ever dribble a basketball, and there's no way you can say one or the other. For me, Michael Jordan's the greatest player of all time. Guess what? I can give you a bunch of stats to tell you why he is that. Mm-hmm. You can give me a bunch of LeBron stats to tell me why LeBron's the greatest player of all time. You know what we're going to do at the end of the day? I don't agree with what you said. Okay. Like, I'm fine with the debate, but at this point, we just beating a dead horse.
Yeah, that's the facts. I think that, like you said, the debate at this point, nobody's ever going to see eye to eye. There's no clear cut. There's no objective answer. And I think people lose that fact. Like, objective means that regardless of opinion, this is clear cut true. There's nothing, like, it's all subjective. Every opinion that you can have is subjected towards your view, your personal opinion, what player you have more inclination towards. But at the end of the day, the one thing that is objective in this conversation, as you said, they are two of the greatest people to ever touch basketball, and that can never be taken away from them. Now, I do understand the from just a talking point that Rich Paul brought up about, that MJ never had to deal with the 24/7 news cycle and social media and things like that. But the thing is, MJ didn't care. He didn't care then. He wasn't going to care regardless. You know what MJ would have did in social media? He would have trolled the hell out of everybody. Either that or his tweets would have just been, "I'm the greatest."
I mean,
and that would have been it.
Yeah, I get it, right? Like, he's not bombarded like LeBron is, but I think people also forget, right? LeBron removes himself from a lot of that stuff.
That's true too.
LeBron takes himself off of social media during the season. I think lately he has.
During off-season training mode, he used to take himself off. I don't think he does anymore.
I don't think he does it anymore, right? Because he's to a point in his career where he's like, either I'm gonna go out here and dominate or I'm not. But like back in the day, like you didn't see LeBron out there on a daily basis on Twitter, on Instagram, right? Like you saw that usually during the offseason. And yeah, he's got to deal with
He's not KD.
He's not KD. He understands how to remove himself from that environment, just like Michael Jordan understood how to remove himself. You know what it is, though? It's the craziest thing. But it was Andrew Schultz. He was talking about how Taylor Swift can only be compared to Michael Jackson. Here's the difference. Michael Jordan couldn't walk the streets. Michael Jordan couldn't go to the mall. Michael Jordan could, like anywhere Michael went, a mob followed him.
Mm-hmm.
They had to shut things down for him. He didn't get to have that normalcy of life that a lot of people get. And now, listen, did he still do stuff? Yeah, but he paid for usually that security to be there to keep things down. LeBron gets the opportunity to go out. I think we're in a day and age where, yeah, everybody want to hit you up on Twitter and stuff like that. But for the most part, right, if you saw Brian walking down the street, you'd be like, oh, snap, that's LeBron James. Maybe you shake his hand, but it's not 40,000 people standing around him. Like, yes, there are differences where, yes, LeBron gets it more on the social media side. But I think on the flip side of that, Mike had to deal with it in person. I can shut off a cell phone. I can turn off a TV. Yeah. I can't just make thousands of people leave.
I mean, like you said, this debate is going to rage on. We're going to be asked questions about it every offseason. It happens. And we'll see at some point if it ever is Anthony Edwards, and then they'll be talking about MJ having the greatest son in basketball.
Can we admit that this is how great Michael is, where literally every single offseason we have a debate based on who's better than Michael Jordan?
Yeah.
Like, that is GOAT status. I don't care, right? Like, I know I don't want to have a debate, but he's my GOAT. And he's my GOAT because, and I view it different. I always go GOAT, greatest of the era, even though I think Michael Jordan would dominate in any era. But he's my GOAT because we don't have these conversations about Kareem no more. We don't have these conversations. Michael had won 3 and they had moved him ahead of Kareem. Like, we don't have these conversations about Kobe. We have these conversations about LeBron and Michael. That's GOAT status.
And that's it. For issues and giggles, top 3 GOATs of all time. Who's on your list?
I would say LeBron, Michael, and Kareem.
So you're ranking this in order?
No. In order. Michael, LeBron, Kareem.
Yeah, Michael, LeBron. I go back and forth between Kareem and Kobe all the time, and I think I have to acknowledge my own biases. It's just because I got to see all of Kobe's career. I got to see the tail end of Kareem. So, for me personally,
I'm forgetting you old. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's Kobe, but I can't knock it being Kareem there at all. But it's just personally, I got to see Kobe play in person. I got to watch this man play. Yeah. I never got to see Kareem play in person. So.
Yeah, no, I mean, listen, I can't argue Kobe either, right? But like for me, I'd say Kobe's probably 4 for me. I mean, realistically, you almost got to put Dunk at 5, but don't nobody never want to have that conversation. But that's a whole different thing. But I
was 2 when Kareem retired. I don't actually remember him watching.
I was gonna say, hey, when you said that, I was like, dang, brother, like. I thought you was an 80s baby. I didn't realize you like grew up in the 80s. I was about to say, Jesus.
Yeah, I was technically 2 years old, but like
I thought you was watching Winning Time. Like that didn't happen. I remember. Wait a minute, hold on.
No, I'm not that old. I'm not Joel out here, bro. Like, let's be.
I remember when Pat Riley took over. What?
With that said, man, we want to appreciate you guys, man. Next up, we're going to be talking about what is next up? Next up, we're going to be talking about the Bulls 2025 free agency plans. See, look, talk about getting old, and I have a senile moment. Ain't that some stuff? Ain't that? It be your own people. But before we get into that, got to talk to you guys about FanDuel. Get ready for the NFL season with incredible offers from FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. Plus, all customers who bet $5 will get $100 off NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Now is the best time to get to join FanDuel. The app is easy to use, and you can bet on everything from spreads to player props and more. So visit FanDuel.com/LockedOn and kick off the NFL season with an offer you won't want to miss. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL. All right, Pat. So, of course, we talked about, Giannis's recent comments about re-signing with the Milwaukee Bucks and if they're in line with the championship. And so Darnell Mayberry over at The Athletic had an article in which he talked about, it was actually an interview, I believe. He was on NBC Sports Chicago, I believe is the podcast. I listen to so many. But he said that he fully does believe that the Bulls are preparing to be able to make a run at Giannis in 2025. Now, I wanted to take that a little bit further, instead of just focusing just on Giannis, whether he opts in or opts out. But 2025, the Bulls can have almost $90 million in cap space. Now, that is if they don't re-sign Patrick Williams to an extension, which we know is going to happen, or DeMar DeRozan, which they could re-sign him to a shorter-term deal. But either way, even with those extensions, the Bulls are looking at having about $50 million in cap space if they don't sign any long-term deals outside of those players. It's their next chance to really have a meaningful impact in free agency. Even when you look at them bringing in Lonzo, bringing in DeMar, and AC, who was brought in with the mid-level, but they had to issue sign-in trades for that. That's why we owe the Spurs a first-round pick. That would be their first time having true, significant cap space. Do you think that that's kind of the front office is kind of planning and kind of treading the water, waiting on that, and that be the next time they make a significant move or change to the roster here?
I think that you probably would make a move before you got to the 2025 offseason, but I do think that there would be some changes made that offseason for sure. The Bulls, listen, they would love to be able to go out and get a young free agent who's maybe sick of where he's at. But I guess who is it that you're looking to go get, right? Like Ant-Man just re-signed, Jase signed up. Lucas signed up, you know what I mean?
So
like
free agents set to be notable free agents. Some of these guys are going to be old by then, but younger ones. Brandon Ingram's an unrestricted free agent at that time. Jamal Murray's an unrestricted free agent at that time. You're looking at Kawhi and Paul George being unrestricted. Drew Holiday, OG Anunoby, they're all free agents around that time as well. Kai Soto is one that the Bulls could definitely go after.
Hey, yo, he actually was getting tick on the national team. I was like, hey, I swear, he was getting like 15 minutes and actually
he wasn't at first.
Like 9
he didn't play in their first 2 games. And I remember we were flaming him, but
we was frying him at first, and then I looked it up because I was like, hey, yo, is this man getting minutes? I looked it up. He was getting like 15 minutes. He got like 9 and 6 off of it. I actually was impressed by it, but I don't know, man. Like, I think that the Bulls will position themselves to go after a big name, but are any of those names the name that they're going to go spend big money? I don't see that. I don't see AK going out and adding a Paul George. I don't see AK going out and adding, right? Like maybe Giannis, because Giannis is transcendent. But does he sign somebody that's like Jamal Murray, right, to pair Jamal Murray up with then a 31, 32-year-old Zach LaVine?
He's 28 now, right? So
no, he's 29 now.
20, so
actually, Zach might be 30 now, bro.
No, Zach's not 30 yet.
Didn't he just have a birthday? Somebody just turned 30 on the board.
He just turned 28 in March. He turns 29 in March. So yeah,
he turns 29 in March. He turns 29 in March. Somebody just turned. Drummond just turned 30. That's what it was.
Okay.
I think he might still be 27. You never know with Andre Drummond. He ages backwards. They don't even know. He just turned 30. Yeah, that's what it was. But no, I mean, realistically, right? Like you're putting that with a 30-year-old Zach LaVine. You add in maybe a Jamal Murray. If he has a couple of years of health under his belt, maybe you're more willing to do that at that point. But I just think that I don't see any names on that list outside of a Giannis that it's like, yeah, I got to go get this guy. Brandon Ingram, I love the name Brandon Ingram, but let's be 100%. Brandon Ingram has not turned into what we thought he was going to be. Like, he's a nice player, but I'm not dropping the bag on him. Now, granted, it also depends on what the bag is at that point.
I'm about to say, no, Brandon Ingram's getting the bag. Like, that's not even a question. He's getting the bag. Like, I mean, he's getting $30 million now.
He'll get the bag. I don't want the Bulls to drop the bag on him, but he'll get the bag, right? Because I just, right, like Brandon Ingram doesn't feel like a legit number 2 yet. Brandon Ingram feels like what people talk about Zach LaVine being.
See, the thing, I only disagree with that because I think Brandon Ingram has turned into a decent number 2. I just think the number 1 that was supposed to be the 1 for him hasn't been out there very much at all. So it's been difficult to really see. But I mean, you're talking about a player who was top 15 in scoring in the NBA last season. So I mean, it's hard to knock him for that. But I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
The number 2 on that team instantly became CJ McCollum, who ended up being the number 1.
He became the number 1.
He became the number 1, but he was supposed to be the number 2, which means, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, Brandon Ingram is the number 3 basically on that team, and it shouldn't be that way, is what I'm saying, right? Like, Brandon Ingram,
I feel that.
He should be the 25 point per game guy that we see once a year that basically has a hot month, right? Like, if you want to talk about somebody having a Kobe White month, right? Brandon Ingram might have a month where he drops 50, 40, 30, and then the rest of the season he giving you 22.
Well, he also needs to stay healthy. Like we talk a lot about Zion not being healthy, but Brandon Ingram has played less. The number of games played has dropped every year for the last 4 years for Brandon Ingram.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. As much as we were hype around the Lakers giving up all of those pieces to basically go out and build another team, I'm kind of okay. Like, if you're a Lakers fan, you probably feeling good. Lonzo can't stay healthy. B.I. can't stay healthy. Julius Randle can't go right. I mean, like, you're probably feeling okay about where your team is, even though you just re-signed Christain Wood. By the way, Brandon Ingram, even the one thing that has been disappointing, if we're going to just stick with his name, what he's done with Team USA has basically been nothing.
Bro, it's been embarrassing.
Nothing.
Embarrassing.
I mean, it's like, I don't think he's had one good game yet.
No, I don't. Has he scored in double digits yet?
I think he did one time. I want to say versus Montenegro, maybe.
Well, shout out to him there.
He scored in double digits, but it was like 12 points, 10 points, something like that. So, like, it wasn't crazy, right? Like, so I like positioning themselves for that spot. Yes, I do think the Bulls are trying to do that. It's just, who's the player you're going to get? Is it a boom or bust free agency with Giannis?
Well, I think we're also trained to kind of look at it as what one player you're going to get. But if you got $50 million in cap space, you can do similar to what the Bulls did when they got Carlos and all the players they got then, and really build out depth on your team. If you're not, because the Bulls only have 5 players under contract at that point. So
we'll see. Get Ronnie Brewer, I guess. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like,
you remember that month Ronnie Brewer had? You remember the one healthy month Ronnie Brewer had, where it was literally like, bro, it was like, hey, this dude can be it. And then it was like, oh, okay.
Bro, he was a clamp too. I was like, man, Ronnie Brewer, a clamp out here, and then he could be down on the other end, knocking down the 3 ball. Man, it happened 1 month. But no, I look at the Bulls' position. And here's the thing: at the end of the day, all you can do is position yourself. And I do think that they're doing that. I think that they have big plans for 2025. The biggest question mark is, at that point, has any of the young players that you've invested in panned out? If they have, you can make very different moves. If they haven't, you got to go big or go home.
Yeah,
and and realistically, if I'm spending all this money, am I getting a high draft pick at the end of the day to try and go out there and build my team through the draft as well?
Yeah. So, I mean, it depends on that. And then, I mean, a young player that we have on this team making a leap, not just a step, a leap between now and then, changes some things then too. So we'll see. But like you said, I do think they're definitely positioning themselves to be that next time that they make a significant move is 2025. It's just, we'll see. Are they going to go after the home run? Are they going to go after a lot of doubles there?
And we talked about this, and we could talk about it more in the next segment too, right? Like, the Bulls aren't going to make home run hits. They're going to make the right move. And I do like that.
Yeah, facts.
I like that.
Yeah. Yeah, but we want to remind you guys that Locked On Bulls is free and available on every podcasting app and platform of your choice, as well as YouTube and the Odyssey app. We're going to go ahead and jump into this last topic for today. Christain Wood signs a 2-year vet minimum deal with the Los Angeles Lakers. Now, this is a guy that some Bulls fans in the comments of this channel were saying that the Bulls should have used most of their disabled player exception to go after Christain Wood. Thank God, bro. Thank God, man. This is why fans are fans and GMs are GMs.
I feel bad about I feel bad for Christain Wood because I think realistically he really wanted to go to Miami. And everyone's waiting on Dame.
Yeah.
I feel bad because I feel like he missed out on it. Now, listen, I don't feel bad because you also didn't sign, but I do feel like he missed out on the bag a little bit trying to wait on Miami. And now you're at a point where you have no leverage. It's like you got to sign with a team or not play. So
see, that's the thing. I don't even know if the bag was out there for him. Like, I don't even know. Like,
I think there was more than a vet man out there.
There was definitely like you look at the deal Dylan Brooks got. Now Dylan Brooks is a defender, I guess but there are absolutely teams that probably would have paid him something. But like, it is a player option for 2024-25. So basically, it could just be a 1-year deal. If he plays well with the Lakers, he can go back out in free agency, rehab his value, get back out there and sign a bigger deal with the next team. But you look at what the Lakers have done for a team that didn't have very many assets. They've done pretty damn well.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, at the end of the day, I seen a post on Twitter. It said, what's going to stop this trio? And it was LeBron, AD, and Christain Wood. And I said, the fact that Christain Wood is going to have to play 35 games as the starting power forward, that's what's going to stop this Lakers team at the end of the day. Like, because AD's just not going to be out there. You know what I mean? Like, I like the idea of this trio, but like, it all hinges on, is AD going to have a healthy season? I think if
anybody, Christain Wood's hoping that he doesn't, so he can play.
I mean, realistically, why don't you? I'd play both of them.
That's
AD going to be the 5 anyway.
True, but you're not going to play the people ahead of Christain Wood on that depth chart at the 4 and 5. Jared Vanderbilt, Roy Hachimura, Jackson Haize, all ahead of him on that depth chart. I would project. And AD. I didn't mention AD because you never know if AD is going to be healthy.
Right? Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna be real. I probably would play Christain Wood over all of them. Maybe Vanderbilt, but Vanderbilt's such a defense. Vanderbilt is such a tweener, though. Like, you could throw him at the 3 and feel good about yourself.
True, and then you got to the Lakers are really high on Rui Hachimura.
They are, but I mean, like, will we be surprised if Rui's is a guy coming off of the bench and still putting in the same work? Like, I think the thing is, right, like, I guess if it's more of a team aspect thing, if you can get him to work in with the team, I can see him in the starting lineup. Otherwise, bring him off of the bench, because you kind of want a team with Christain Wood on it where, like, you could just get the heck out the way and let him go score 20. That's really all you're hoping to do, because he's not going to stop nobody. He couldn't guard me and you. So, I mean,
but I think that's more reason why he'll probably come off the bench for this season, because they need defenders and people who can stretch the floor around LeBron and AD, which Christain Wood can hit a 3. He's not a volume 3-point shooter. I mean, Christain Wood's 3-point percentage last season was absolute garbage, though. So I know you're a little bit higher on Christain Wood than I am, and that's fine. We'll see. Hey, I guess we'll see. The Lakers have, I guess, options.
At the end of the day, I'm not upset that the Bulls didn't sign him.
Oh, to bring it back to the Bulls, they did the right thing.
Yeah, I was trying to see. I was like, I thought he shot pretty well from the 3-point line last season. He shot 37% from 3 last year.
37. Was it in the? What did he do in the playoff? Oh, they didn't make the playoffs.
But they didn't make the playoffs. Yeah,
Christain Wood had a bad percentage from 3. Yeah,
he's had a pretty good 3-point percentage most of his career. I mean, he's been 38,
taking 4.2 3-pointers per game. So
that's why I said he fits with a LeBron James really well. I think the problem for that team is going to be, right, are you fitting with a LeBron James without an Anthony Davis?
Yeah.
Like, that's realistically, it's the same question we keep asking. So, but I'm not upset at the Bulls for not going to get, again, it's the reason I said, I'm fine taking that last comment into this topic. I think the Bulls made the right moves this offseason. I think that they didn't make the sexy moves. I don't know if these moves will all of a sudden flip the mindset of the team and turn Zach LaVine into a guy who's a number one that's going to go out there and dominate and on a night in, night out basis. I don't know if all of a sudden him and DeMar DeRozan's dynamic is going to be more cohesive with Javon Carter in it. I don't know if they did, but I do believe that they made the right moves. They're not sexy. None of them are. But you know what? And
it's the same thing that we say about never mind.
You got to calm down there, sir.
I you know what? I can guarantee you this. Whatever you thought I was about to say, what I actually was about to say was 20 times worse.
Hey, bro. Hey, listen, and you want to take this over to a white sport? We're not gonna put nothing out there. I'm just saying.
Be on the lookout for me and Pat over somewhere else. But that's crazy. That's wild.
You want to take this to the mountains of Caucasus? But no, I look at this Bulls team as I look at the Christain Wood deal and I say, I'm glad that Christain Wood got on the team. I'm glad that he's out there. Could the Bulls have used him possibly? Would I have been upset if the Bulls had got him? No, but I'm also not upset that they didn't get him.
Facts. Well, that's what it comes down to. Pat, anything left before we get up out of here?
Nah, man. Follow us on everything at Locked On Bulls. You can follow me on everything at Pat the Designer. Appreciate you guys for showing love and watch out for never mind. That wasn't
yeah. We want to thank you guys for tuning in to Locked On Bulls, making us your first listen every single day. You guys can follow me at CEO Haize, at CEO Haize. And for Pat, this has been Locked On Bulls. We about here. Peace, y'all.
About to get fired from a show we ain't even talked about yet.